Welcome, everyone.
Hello.
We are happy that y'all are able to join us on our podcast,
This is so
our
exciting.
live stream. It is exciting. And
Yeah.
so, our topic today is going to be about domestic violence. I thought I would bring this topic to y'all because it's near and dear to my heart. I personally know people that have died at the hands of domestic violence.
Yes, it can get
And
very
so,
ugly.
yeah. So I thought this was a very important conversation for us to have. And so, how do you feel about the topic that we're discussing tonight, JB?
Definitely can relate because I actually grew up in a home around domestic violence, sadly. And then me actually evolving into a woman, I experienced domestic violence myself in past relationships. So it's
Hmm.
something I've been battling my whole life, pretty much my whole life.
Right, and it's not talked about enough amongst people out of fear of being embarrassed,
Right.
or ashamed. And we do know that it happens a lot towards women.
Yes,
It happens to
definitely.
men too, but really a lot, towards women. And from the research that I have done, it says domestic violence um, is defined as abuse, a pattern of behavior in any form that is used in a relationship to gain or maintain power, control over an intimate partner.
It's definitely hit right on the head. I can agree with all of that. There is some people coming in. Hi Mo, hi Mother of Three, hi Tam Tam.
Hi,
So we do
everyone.
have
Welcome.
people coming in.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's very hello everyone. It's
Hello,
very
everyone.
touching topic. I mean, I'm very open with experience or sharing my experiences with it. I actually have to look myself in the mirror every day and be reminded of the domestic violence that I've been through because I have a scar on my face. So it's like I'm constantly being reminded of the pain that I've been through. And I always say I want to get a tattoo over it. And they're like, "You're not gonna ink your face. Are you crazy?" And I'm like,
Right,
it's just something I want to do because it's something I've been through and I overcame it. And I'm learning more now. I'm still learning to love myself more and more every day. But
right,
it's something I've been through and it's been a pattern.
right. And my question to you, Jay Red, if you don't mind sharing, because we're trying to bring awareness about this. It's a serious, topic. Like I said,
Mhm.
it happens all the time. It's the leading cause of injury to women more than car accidents, muggings, and rapes combined.
Wow.
So, if you don't mind sharing, like, what was some of the signs you saw looking back in hindsight that you saw the signs was there,
Mhm.
but I don't want to say ignore it, but you
Right,
tried
right.
to overlook it or whatever. I want to use the right terms without
Yeah, I understand. I
yeah.
guess signs that I used to can see in relationships was things that I saw growing up happening in my home with my parents. And I
Hmm.
wanted to ignore those signs and look past it like, no, this behavior isn't the same like it was with my parents. It's different. For example, just like catching yourself loving or caring for someone more than yourself, putting others before yourself. That's
Hmm.
the number one sign to it because now that this person knows that they got this control over you, that you're gonna put in all to them rather to yourself, they're gonna use that to their advantage.
Right? Did you find that when you was experienced that he was sheltering you away from your friends, like, or your family? Because I
Yes.
noticed that's one of the signs that happens a lot. And I want to share a story with you. In my early 20s, I had a girlfriend. I'm going to name her Nicole. I'm going to
Okay.
call her Nicole. And we were really great friends. And she met this guy, and they started dating. And I could see the change in her gradually, but I couldn't put my hands on it. And this is the reason why I decided to talk about this topic because tonight, because I think about her all the time. She
Yeah.
died at the hands of domestic violence. So to go back to the story, I noticed little changes about her. You know, when he would come around, you could just tell she got nervous. He tried to keep her from us, you know, friends and family. And so one day I approached her and I asked her, was anything wrong? And she broke down and she shared with me what was going on. So I asked her, I said, well, why do you stay? She said, because he loved me.
Yeah. It's very powerful but dangerous. Love is very powerful but dangerous. Yeah. And I also lost friendships behind a man. People no longer wanted, they were overseeing the abuse before I seen it. And they would just refuse to hang around it. So that actually happened to me. I would have friends like not want anything to do with me because he was always around and they seen the abuse. And I was in denial of it because I went through it at home, like coming from someone where your own father abused you. I thought it was okay for other men to abuse me. And my dad didn't physically ever really put his hands on me. It was more so verbal abuse, which led to me going on into relationships accepting any type of abuse just to be loved because my own father, I felt like, didn't love me.
Right.
You
And that
know?
happens a lot. Sometimes we tend to date men that is a reflection of our father, you
Oh,
know, looking for that fatherly love. But going back to the story that I was saying about my friend, we're gonna call her Nicole because I'm not gonna, you know, share her name out
right.
on the internet. She's no longer here with me. But I noticed, like I said, he wouldn't want her to be around us. And he would, you know, keep her away from family and friends. And so, like I said, I asked, I said, well, why do you stay? She said, because he loved me. I started noticing like little bruises and stuff of that nature. And fast forward, maybe she stayed with him for like 2 years. She got pregnant by him. And I'll never forget this day. And she came to me. She came to my house. We were talking. We was laughing, not knowing that would be the last time I would see my friend alive.
Oh.
So what happened was they got into an argument that night. She was 9 months pregnant. She was like 21. He was maybe 2 years younger than her. They got into an argument. I don't know what the argument consists of. Nobody really knows to this day. But he took her life and his unborn child life.
That is so sad.
You know, he went to jail for it, but it doesn't bring them back.
Yeah, it could never. It can never bring.
Right. And
And I just
so, go ahead.
no,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
J.
No, go ahead. I was just gonna say it's just heartbreaking because we kind of get sucked in to these type of environments based off of what we grew up around. So
Right.
of us becoming women and finding ourselves, we go through these things. Unfortunately, I've been through it a few times. And I
Right.
am at a point in my life where I'm just like loving on myself now and
Right.
not really giving my energy to no man. Because they'll
Right.
take advantage of it. It's hard to trust.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that sometimes they be scared to tell. You know, I found hindsight looking back, I saw all the signs there. I tried to give, you know, advice, but love is a powerful and a dangerous thing. When you feel like because a man hits you or control you that they love you.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You okay? You all right, J Ray? You there? What happened, J Ray? Did you end the broadcast?
Okay, no, I'm back now. I had lost connection for a minute.
Okay, I see. Okay, so you're there?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay. And so like I was saying that I see the signs. I have saw signs of women, you know, just afraid to leave. And I wanted to ask you, being that you experienced that for yourself, um, did you ever feel that way? That you were afraid to leave, or did you feel like um, you loved him that much that you was wishing that he would change?
Yeah, I never was afraid to leave because I've always been the person to fight back, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So, no, I've never been afraid to leave, but I guess just afraid of being alone is what really made me stay. Just having that sense of comfort and that sense of like just having someone next to you and being there with you.
Right.
That's what I did, was afraid of losing. I wasn't afraid of like the person per se or the situation. I just didn't want to be lonely. And I was young. I was young when I was going through this stuff. And
Right.
I felt growing up, I felt like I don't want to, it was only me and my brother.
Right.
So I felt like he was favored more over me growing up. And then when I became an adult and had this conversation with my brother, he agreed. And I felt a sense of relief because I'm like, I'm glad I wasn't the only one feeling like this. And I wonder why I acted out and why I went down a path that I went down, in my 20s or whatever. It's because I was looking for love that I felt like I didn't even have in my own household.
Right.
So
And
that's why I was afraid to leave the relationships.
Right. And you see that a lot. And we're not going to make this just about women because men get abused too.
Oh, yeah.
And so if anybody want to come up and join the panel, y'all can, if y'all know anybody who have experienced this, because we're just trying to bring awareness because, like I said, I lost a good friend when we were in our early 20s to domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
And lately here, where I live at Northeast, I have noticed that a lot of young ladies have been getting their lives taken by the hands of young men.
Yeah, it's sad. I would love to, if anyone in the chat has experienced any things, I would love to hear someone's story or, my mom almost lost her life behind domestic violence as well. And there's just things in life that you just never forget and they always come back to you like it was yesterday.
Right.
So I was young experiencing this. I was 5 years old. My brother was 8. My dad beat the crap out of my mother in front of us to the point where her face was just dripping in blood. I thought my mother was dead. And my mom had to have reconstructive bone surgery all in her face. Her nose, everything. Like he destroyed her. If he would have hit her here, she would have been dead.
Right. It's very serious.
Yeah.
And women lose their lives every day behind domestic violence. Every 9 seconds in the United States, a woman is beaten.
Right.
That's what statistics tell us. So I just want to know, what do you think that stemmed from? Do you think it happened to them? Seeing somebody
like our parents, like why do you think it? I really honestly think it's a domino effect. It starts somewhere. My grandfather on my dad's side was an alcoholic.
Right.
He died from being an alcoholic at an early age. I never got to meet the man. I wasn't even born before he died. So that, and then my dad being the only boy out of 4 sisters, and the youngest, he was a trouble kid. He was a trouble kid. And then my mom came from a family of 6 kids, 7 kids, something like that as well. With my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom and my grandfather went to work. So everybody felt like my mom's family growing up, they had this picture perfect life. They were like, they went on trips, they had like a little big, they had a decent life. And everyone was independent. No one ever seen any abuse on my mom's side of the family. Like they lived that country American dream type life. My grandfather worked, my grandmother stayed home, the kids went to school. And that was that. So when my mom and my dad met, they met because my mother worked at the same spot as his sister. So my mom was friends with his sisters before they even met. So it's like when my dad came into my mom's life, that's when it got chaotic for her.
Let me ask you a question, J-Red. How old you said you were again?
I am 34 in November.
No, I'm talking about when you first started noticing the abuse with your mom.
5 years old.
You was 5 years old. Because usually when abusers, they usually tend to gravitate to the child. Did you notice that you were being like mistreated anyway by him, or he geared that just towards your mom?
He kind of put fear in all of us. So like when my dad would come in a room, it would get cold. It would get tense. It would get quiet. Like we feared him. We were scared of him because we seen what he did to her. We were very defensive of our mother. Like we would jump in and try to, take up for her and stuff. And he never hit. Like we never got abused. We never got hit by our parents. It was always verbal. It was verbal. And then my dad used to give us these like crucial punishments. Like if we stayed out past the street lights, now I'm in my room for 2 weeks with no TV, no nothing, no social life. Like he ripped everything apart from you that you like. So that's how we got punished. We didn't get beat but my dad would call me fat. My dad would say, I'm not buying you nothing unless you lose weight. So like that's still abuse.
But I was about to say, so he didn't abuse you physically. It was more mentally trying to break you down. And my question to you is, how did that affect you growing up? Like you said, he would call you names. You're a beautiful lady. But did that mess with your esteem growing up? It did.
It did a lot. I was very insecure my whole life until I want to say till I was about 16 years old. But yeah, growing up, it was very rough for me. I was bullied in school. I was the fat girl, It sounds bad to say it like that, but that's just what it was. And not only that, my dad was a drug addict. So by the time I got to high school, those same boys that I'm going to high school with are selling my dad drugs. So it was just like always something going on. It was just always something going on. And I was very insecure. I used to be so scared of he went to prison for 5 years from the incident with him and my mom. And when he got out, she took him back. So that right there was something, clicked in my head, like maybe you're supposed to forgive a man for doing something like that to you if you love them and you have their kids. So when I seen that she took
that was back, your mindset because of
what
she went through.
Okay.
Right.
If you love somebody, you have kids by them, it's okay. She took them back.
Right.
So that's what I was thinking, Listen, I done been through a lot of stuff, and it started at home.
So let me ask you a question. Do you and your mom ever have that discussion about what you saw growing up?
Yeah.
From the age of 5 years old, and how do that affect you today when y'all have those conversations? Are y'all able to have those conversations?
We are
being judgmental.
We are because I asked my mom. I had the question. I had to ask her.
Right.
Why didn't I get taught this type of things, and why didn't I know about this, and why did you make those decisions? And at the end of the day, my mom kind of just laid it out that she wanted to do what was best for us. She grew up in a household with both parents, so she didn't want to take that away from us. She really didn't know how to raise children, so everything was, and then they up and left Ohio and moved down here to Florida with nobody.
Right.
So she didn't have anybody either. She was down in Florida alone.
Yes, because I noticed a lot of times when women stay in domestic situations, a lot of times they stay for the kids because they want their family. They want their father to be in the household.
That's exactly
or the father carry, majority of the responsibility. She gives up her dreams so that he can have his, if that makes sense.
Girl, I don't know what my mama was thinking. Now that we older, we laugh about it.
Right.
And, we learn from it and ever, but I think me being more open as an adult with my mom, letting her know how I really was feeling as a kid and stuff. She doesn't judge me at all. She respects what I say. And she just says, I did the best I could do. My dad was a drug addict. It was hard for her. A lot of
times they do the best that they can do. That's all they know how. Because look, when we have children, we're not giving a pamphlet how to raise our children.
Right.
And a lot of women stay with men because they really don't know. They don't know how to gravitate into the world without them, or out of fear,
Right. And then, like I said, they moved out here to Florida from Ohio,
Right.
leaving both of my sides of the family from up there. So they just pack up and leave. And she doesn't have anybody or know anybody down here. So I feel like that was another reason why she stayed with him for so long. Because she didn't have nobody to turn to. Now, we living in Florida my whole life, we gained really strong relationships with people. My godmother is the lady who pulled this man off of my mom with a pistol. I was 5 years old, and she didn't know us. We just moved in the same day it happened. She came running next door with her gun and got my dad off of my mom. And ever since then, like, she was like a protector for us. And
that's beautiful.
That's my family. That's my
right.
family.
A stranger could come along and help you in that way. You know, so I just want, like I said, I wanted to bring this topic here because, like I said, where I live at, I have noticed a lot of young women getting their lives taken away by young men. And it's just bothersome to know that, you know, this is happening. And what can we say to somebody that we see is getting abused? You okay? You lost service again? It's okay. We're going to get it together. Thank you, everyone that came to the live. I really appreciate it. Y'all are welcome here. The topic for tonight is domestic violence, and reason being, I have noticed that a lot of young women in my area, the Northeast, have been getting their lives taken away by domestic violence, and it's sad. And I just wanted to bring awareness, you know, to women, not only women, because men get abused too.
Right.
I thought this was a great topic. Like, what can we say to get that message out there, to give them some of the warning signs? Like,
I would say, like, a definite warning would be when someone's trying to control. You definitely want to steer away from someone that's trying to control just even the littlest things about you. They want a sense of power over you, and then that'll turn into abuse. Like, I have an ex-boyfriend, I ain't gonna lie, to this right now, wants to get back with me. He wants to marry me and everything, but this man tries to control me. And I would not allow myself to go into a situation where somebody's going to be controlling me, because there's a certain extent. Like, we're not married. And even when you are in a marriage, you're not going to control me, because I'm still my own individual person. So that would be like a number one flag for me, is when you see someone trying to control even the littlest things. Because you guys know I'm a content creator. Y'all know I'm on a weight loss journey. I brought it to his attention that there's going to be pictures and videos of me on the internet showing my transformation. So it's going to be times where I'm in a sports bra with a waist trainer on and their skin showing, and the first thing comes out his mouth is, "I'm not allowing that." You're not going to control me.
Right, and that's another form of abuse. They try to control you.
Right, it's abuse. So I changed my number, honey. Like, I don't want nothing to do with it.
And that's great, because, like you said, even when you're in a marriage, it's a difference between letting a man be the head of the household,
right,
opposed to controlling every aspect of your life, because that's where it stems from, like controlling you at first, isolating you from your family and friends, and then somewhere down the line, a hit.
Yeah, and then it's even hard even trying to date someone nowadays in the times we're living in. I feel like, especially like for the women that's in their 30s, that 26, 35 range, it's hard for us to date right now, because these men out here, they don't want nothing but to use what they can get out of you and move on to the next one. Like, it's so hard to date right now. Like, I'm over trying to date. I've tried a few times since I moved here in Tallahassee. I tried to get to know guys and open up, and the first thing this dude says is get mad and call me not real, because I won't let him move in with me.
Right. And so why do you think that is, J-Ray? Do you think that the men now is totally different from years ago? Because I noticed that the men don't really court women like they used to.
I don't understand what has changed, But y'all, I see them in the comments saying they agree. I can tell, like, I just don't understand what has changed in dating. And honestly, I can answer probably saying social media. Social media play a huge factor in dating nowadays to me, because you got these celebrities, you got this perfect body that everybody wants to look right, everybody want to BBL, and then these men are chasing that look.
Want that Barbie doll.
Yeah, and then
But what
it's
they
just
fail to
like,
realize that beauty fades over time. It's what's
right.
in here.
It's gonna go out of style, which
That's
is has
right. That's
already
right.
started. These
Beauty
celebrities
fades.
don't start reversing their bodies
Right.
back to
Right.
normal, and it's just like this internet corrupting. Like, I sometimes get a little emotional in my feelings, and I'm like, I'll be 34 this year. Will I ever find my husband? Because it's hard in my age bracket. It really is.
What do you notice in the men in their early 30s? What do you notice about them that make you feel like, no, I don't think that's what
Lack of responsibility. That'll be the main thing. Lack of responsibility. They don't know how to hold their own. Men in my age group, they want to live off of us. I salute the men out there that have their own apartment or house, they have their own car, and they have their own business, because there's not many of them that do. A lot of the men in my age group, they're looking to leech off of somebody.
And
And
do you
I just
think
don't know why. Why is that happening? Because I had fun dating when I was a teenager and stuff.
right?
Like, we was hanging outside, we was going to the movies. Like, we didn't have the internet. We had it, but we was only on the internet in school.
Right. And that does play a big part of that. So my question is, I know you mentioned that you have an ex that want to get back with you, right? And so your reason for not getting back with him is out of fear of control, correct?
Correct.
Has he always been that way, or he got that way after y'all started dating?
No, there's always been him wanting to have certain things go his way. And I feel like he can't really help it because he's a Leo, and Leos are very dominant people. Like, they're very headstrong, and they're very like, my way or no way. Like, I'm huge on like spirits and zodiac and vibes and stuff like that.
Right.
So I kind of feel like he's not trying to do it, but he's doing it. And then it clashes with my personality because I'm so blunt. And it just we clash, and I just don't even want to risk putting myself through abuse when I can just dead the situation now and keep my peace.
Right. Let's go to some of the comments, and you can read them off.
I see some people down in the comments. You want to read?
You can go ahead and read them off, because I told you my comment section.
Okay. So we got X-Man Gaming. He's like, it's because men now don't have any mother or fathers in the household. It all starts as a child, and TV and social media controls the mindset of the lives of ladies. I agree with that as well. There's a lot of absent fathers in the household. And then men are now like, there's young boys now taking on roles of fathers for their siblings.
That's true.
You know, they're getting pressure put on them at an early age because their mother chose to make poor choices.
Right. So let's go to another one.
And then he also says, like a child of a man, of a father and a mother in the same household, my dad worked and my mother was the housewife, and my father brought money in the home, and then my mother paid the bills. And that's the old traditional way. I always say it to my mom, like, I want to love like grandma and grandpa and papa. Like, they were married 60 years before she passed away. She didn't have to work. All she had to do was make sure dinner was on the table and the kids went to school. Like, I agree with, me, because I'm just an independent person. So, like, I agree with going half on bills. Like, I don't feel like a man has to 100% take care of me. Like, when I get in a relationship, I want us to be equal.
Right.
Because I was raised to be independent because I seen my mom do it all on her own. Even though we had the dad there, he really wasn't there. He was there, but he was just taking up space. Right. And I don't want a man in my life just taking up space.
Exactly.
Mm-mm.
I agree. So what do you think about the
Thank you, Tim. They're saying that this is a great conversation.
thank you.
Amen, Rashonda. This is great. So they're loving this topic. I don't know if anybody want to, add anything to the discussion. We're open to answering any questions. If you guys have any questions for us as well.
Exactly. And so like I commend women who was home taking care of their family, give up, they sacrifice a lot just to make sure
Mm-hmm.
their household is okay. And a lot of men don't appreciate that. And some men do the same.
Yeah.
So when I see women who sometimes give up their dreams and aspirations to become a wife and a mother, I commend them.
I do
And,
too. There's
yeah.
actually a situation going on in the media now. A few months back, I think it was like maybe a month or two back, there was a white female and a black man in a relationship. They were down in Miami and she stabbed and killed him.
Mm-hmm.
So like now I just see in the media, I watch the Shade Room a lot on Instagram. So
Mm-hmm.
the last little article they had, it was saying they denied her bail,
Wow.
but they were not charging her with second-degree murder. They were charging her with manslaughter. And it's just like nobody really knows what was going on because she's trying to make it seem like she was defending herself against this man. But this
Mm-hmm.
man's family is like he doesn't act out. He's not abusive. Like it's just not adding up. So I kind of feel like maybe she had some type of domestic violence over him.
That's what I said, and that's very important that you mentioned that because domestic violence doesn't only happen to women; it happens to men too.
Yeah, like this man, and then the day after they found him dead in the apartment, she's covered in blood. They didn't even arrest her that day.
That's crazy.
She went out to the hotel bar and was sitting at the bar having drinks with a whole nother man.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, that's not adding up. That's not adding up.
Right, and I find
they
that.
were like a YouTube couple too, I believe.
Oh, I think I heard that about that story, J. Red. They said something was not adding up, but that brings me to, you know, and now I'm about to play the devil's advocate, ladies. Please do not get upset with me in the chat. I mean, you have some women, that hit men. They escalate the problem. Like you can have a good man that don't like to disrespect women, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you have that woman that keep on coming at him, hitting him. And I'm not saying that's okay, but what do you say to that woman that, you got this good man, he's respecting you, he doesn't disrespect you in any way, but yet you're breaking him down slowly but surely as a man, and then that escalates to something.
Yeah, I've seen those type of situations where a female would antagonize the situation to make it more than what it is, and then you provoke your partner to get upset enough to where they do put their hands on you, and now you want to play victim.
Right, exactly.
So I've been in that situation before. Like,
oh, really?
I provoked a black eye before. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I have. And I'm not
in what way,
saying it was right. It wasn't
In-
right for him to put his hands on me. But in the argument, for me to blank out, come out, but I feel like at the end of the day, no words should ever drive somebody to put their hands on you. You know what I'm saying? But when you antagonizing someone, you repeatedly digging at them.
Yeah, you poke the bear.
And digging at them, and then they lose it on you. You know what I'm saying? That's when I kind of was like, okay, I took it too far.
Right. Because I personally have seen men walk away from situations.
And a woman
running behind them, trying to find them and things of that nature. I mean, and my thing is, I have a son, and I always tell my son to be respectful towards women. I didn't raise you to hit a woman. But at the same time, what do you do when that woman is trying to really attack you and hurt you? What do you say to your son?
Because I tell Luca all the time, him and his girlfriend are always arguing. And I tell them all the time, separate, please, separate, walk away. Like at that point, please walk away because it's gonna get bad. I've been in these
Right.
situations before, and it's gotten to the point with my godson, he's now punching holes in walls. And I'm like, that's not cool, because the next step is you're gonna be hitting her.
Exactly.
And they're always digging at each other. They're a young couple, they're 19 and 20. They're a young couple, and I tell them all the time, separate, please. There's nothing wrong with taking time away from somebody and then come back, because if y'all don't, y'all gonna destroy each other, y'all gonna hate each other, y'all gonna end up in jail for putting your hands on each other. Because I don't been through it so many times. So if you ever get to a point where you feel like you gotta antagonize someone and get them to a point where they're angry, just please walk away.
Yes.
It's not worth it. It's gonna keep escalating. And okay, y'all may calm down this time around, but what happens next week when y'all argue again?
That's right.
Especially for the women that live in home with their man or whatever, it gets hard. Being up under that same person every day, y'all getting on each other's nerves. Sometimes you just need space away from each other.
Exactly. It only take that one time. Just that one time you snap out and you do an act that change your life forever. So let's go to some of the comments. I see.
Mo says, our HB family, hello, says walk away, drive away, call someone to come remove them from out the situation. I agree 100%. Yes. Walk away, like leave the situation immediately before, because it's just going to keep getting heated and heated and heated. Exactly. And then we got Mo in the comments. Her son is in a situation in middle school where he was provoked and a young lady slapped him in the face, and she paid an ugly price for it. So what happened, Mo? How did your son react to that when he got hit? She said his dad told him how wrong he was, but believe I was at the school that same day, made noise about it, and made sure she was reminded. And then Tam, and I'm gonna read Tam Tam's comment in a second. But that's true. These little girls at school, they think it's cute, trying to hit on people, on these little boys to get their attention because they like them. And then now you got someone like Mo up at their school, and I don't blame her, because you're not gonna put your hands on my child.
And that's the question. Like, what do you tell your sons? You try to raise your son to be respectful and to, I tell my son, treat your future wife, because he just got engaged, the way you would treat your mom.
Exactly.
Because usually a reflection of how a man treat their mother is how they're going to treat their wife.
Exactly. And then we got Tam says, we as women are so strong that we sometimes won't let the man be the man. And when the man feels disrespected, he reacts. A man who reacts physically doesn't honor himself. It happens so much with young people nowadays, which is so true. It does. And then I felt myself, I learned, looking back and, learning and healing and developing, I learned that I was making my ex-boyfriend feel less of a man in the relationship. I was trying to get it out. I didn't know how I was going to say it, but I was definitely making him feel less of a man because I was making more money. I had the better career. I was like, I felt like I was taking on the majority of the bills and stuff.
Right.
So, it was bothering him because he didn't feel like he was man enough in the situation. But by him feeling like that was making him like not be around me. And that was causing more like friction in our relationship, because he was out trying to fix it, but I wasn't seeing him, and I felt like it was a disconnect between us. But then, like, even when he had an issue when I wrote out our bills and put them on the refrigerator, and he was like, "You kind of making me feel like I don't know that we have bills that we got to pay."
Right, because I want to piggyback off what Tam said when she said we as women are so strong. We sometimes won't let the man be the man. When the man feels disrespected, he reacts. Right. And I have to say that I agree with her.
I agree. Like I said, I would throw this stuff in his face,
breaking him down.
He's not even giving me a chance to do what I'm supposed to do before you at me. So I used to undermine him a lot. So like these are things that I look at now and want to correct before I put myself in another situation with another man.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm so used to just being so independent and like, you know, F you, if you don't got it, I got it. You know, but I don't even give him a chance to have my back before I'm already hitting him with something. So it's like I don't want to be like that in my next relationship. I want to kind of let a man lead, but not control.
Right, and that's the big difference. It's the difference between letting a man lead than control. Did we read this comment right here? With Tam said, a man who reacts physically doesn't honor himself. It happens so much with the young people nowadays.
Yeah,
we were just talking about that.
Yeah, these young men out here like, oh, I hate it. And then they're just liars. Like they want to. I don't know what's up with men in this fantasy of having like two separate lives. Like they want to have this picture perfect family over here with this woman, but then they want this party, like outgoing, crazy, exciting life with this woman. And it's like, don't nobody want to be dealing with two. Like I don't understand how men can live double lives.
Right.
I never understood it.
So what do you say to the woman who catches her mate cheating, but he tries to reverse it and makes her think she's the problem? She's the problem, or he gets physically, physical with her in the aspect where as though he might want to hit her or whatever because she caught him out there doing wrong. How do you handle that situation? I have seen that before. That's why I'm asking the question.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've seen it, like I've seen it on TV and stuff, like with cheaters and stuff. And immediately people, she's like, "Ooh, J Red." That's what Mo said. But no, like it's hard not to want to react with anger.
It's sad.
You know what I'm saying?
How are we going to? We try to teach our young boys to become men, correct? And how to treat women, and then we try to teach our daughters how to treat men, right? But if they're not seeing it in the household,
that's I feel like that's like one of the huge issues we're having now with our little ones. They're seeing so many single mother households that it's just like we're not even promoting love anymore. I feel like it's like it seems impossible to have a family where like it happens, but it's rare. It seemed like, and then like not every household is perfect, you know what I'm saying?
Right, no household is perfect.
It's just rare now to actually find a genuine household nowadays, especially like these kids are growing up in broken families, and then not only that, the mother, like I'm not against, have many baby daddies you want, but it affects those kids. It really do. If you look at it, say you got 7 kids and 6 of them got different fathers, like you setting a bad example already for your kids. And that's just my opinion. Right. You letting your baby girl, you showing your daughter that it's okay to be with multiple men.
Right.
Like this, and when is it going to be like a break where you stop the cycle? You got to break the cycle.
Right. And what do we tell our daughters when they bring that young man home? And because we as women, we have that intuition, right? So what do we tell our daughters when they bring that man home, that young man home, that we know is not right for him? You just know something is not right.
I don't even know. I was so hard-headed because my mama used to tell me all the time, that's not the one. Please leave him alone. And I ended up with a scar on my face for not listening to her. But it's just like if you do have that opportunity for your parents to say, hey, I just feel it's not, listen, because if I can go back and listen to my mama when she was telling me to get out them abusive relationships before it was too late, I would have. But I felt like, hey, you got your ass beat. You took my daddy back, so you can't tell me what to do in my relationship. And that's exactly how I was growing up dating.
Yeah.
I was. And then my mom finally said, you know what? I throw my hands up. I'm going to let you experience it and go through what you got to go through. But I'm going to be here for you to cry, for a shoulder for you to cry on.
Exactly.
We had got to that point where my mom was just like, I got to let you do it because you're not listening to me. Because I was literally so like blinded. By being in love, I was in love when I was a kid. So now I got this man over here that love me, and my daddy hit on you. So, so what that he hit me? My daddy hit you.
Right.
So
let's read the comment that the HB family said, J-Red.
Men always get mad when they get caught. The either result to being physical or they start crying. Yeah, that's definitely true. So when a man does get caught cheating, they immediately try to blame it on you. They do, like you were asking me about, Rashawn. They be quick to switch the cover, like you're the problem.
Yeah.
And I get tired of that. I want a man to just own up to their faults,
their mistakes, because you gotta remember that we all gravitate through this life and we always don't make the right decisions. And it's
they don't want their mama getting treated the way they treating.
Exactly.
Like, I don't understand.
And that goes back to when I said I always tell my son, treat the woman that you're going to be with the way you want a man to treat your mom. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't always happen, but we want to try to raise our sons, in the right way. And so
Mo says it's always good to share your thought and just hope that they listen. But yes, ultimately it's going to be up to them to listen to their inner selves.
Exactly.
Because we all got our own mind.
That's right.
We all got our own mind. We all going to do what we feel is best for us, whether it be the best or not. And we just got to go through life and experience it. Because I definitely went through, and I was that girl that was tattooing the names and just being extra wanting this love so bad.
That you felt like you didn't get from your father. You think because that's why you went that route, far as trying to find that love that you felt like you were missing from your dad. You think that played a part in it?
It played a huge part in it. It did, because it was like before I hit puberty, I was just petite, itty bitty, cute little girl, and I was always on my daddy hip and stuff. And it was like, as soon as I gained weight or whatever and became obese, he didn't want anything to do with me. Wow. And that hurted me. Me. And then growing up, finding out I have PCOS and it come from his side of the family, I had to throw it in his face. Like, I was a grown adult once I was diagnosed with this, but I had to let him know, all these years you was calling me fat, I got obese off of your bloodline, not my mama's. So look at all your sisters and look at my cousins. We are all heavy women. Why are you attacking me?
Right. Breaking your self-esteem down, basically.
Right. Yeah. So I was always just wanting that love. So every time I did get in a relationship and things were good and stuff, I always imagined that perfect life with them, marriage, kids. I wanted that. And my relationships that I've been in, they were all long-term relationships. And I've only been in 4 relationships in my life. Mm-hmm. And they were all long-term relationships, and 2 of them were abusive.
Wow. Did you find that the 2 abusive relationships that you were in, that they both had similar traits, far as the way they act, the way they
they were my type. Let's just put it like that.
Mm-hmm. Like your type, right?
I grew up in the hood, so I was attracted to the hood type of dudes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So my ex-boyfriend that, my past relationship, he did 10 years in prison. Mm-hmm. So when he got out of prison, mind you, I was friends with him since elementary school. And then when he did, get in trouble and got sentenced to them 10 years, it was I was in his life around that time. I was around his family. Mm-hmm. We had that was, I used to call him my brother, put it like that. Your hood.
So y'all were friends first.
We were friends for years. Okay. And then when he got out of prison after doing 10 years, we just got closer, and he was just feeding me all this knowledge and all of this.
So let me ask you a question. Sorry for interrupting you. Why do you think some women gravitate towards men that do these long bids, come home?
I can answer that because I'm attracted to these type of men.
Oh, so you're
I'll be honest, I am. I'm attracted to these type of men. But I don't know, for me, I always tell my friends, I feel like when these men are in prison for so long, they're kind of more preserved and meaning like their health and their body and stuff, like they know how to take care of themselves. And then when you're involved with someone who's doing time like that, you get their intimate self, you get their undivided attention. When you get to really get inside this person's brain and know who they are.
Well, let me ask now. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. How do you know you're getting that authentic person?
And that's what
how do you know. How do you know that that's what they want you to perceive?
That's what I was gonna say, because when they come home, now they're this whole other different person. So it was just like they're kind of like feeding you all of this good stuff, but they know deep down in their minds when they get out, they're going back to them old ways. So it's kind of like you got to really be careful when you're dealing with somebody incarcerated. And I've dealt with a couple of people that's been incarcerated, and it's just like, it's not all what it seems. It's not all butterflies and candy and all of that, like how y'all is over the phone. Because when they come out, these men get institutionalized. They're institutionalized. They're used to someone always at them, telling them what to do, when to use the bathroom, when to eat, when to this, when to that. So when they get out and a woman wants to now call your phone, where you at? What you doing? Why you not home? They're feeling like they're in prison all over again. So now the relationship's ruined.
Right. So absolutely.
That's how we got a couple of comments here.
Okay.
Let's see. We got Dominique. Hi, Dominique.
Hi, Dominique. Welcome.
Visits was a weekend outing for me. Yep. It's been real down, no stability. Yeah. Dominique, are you referring to like dating someone in prison? Like I'm gonna be real with you guys. I'm actively in a friendship with someone in prison. We're not dating. And we've been, she said, yeah, she is speaking to someone in prison. So like, I am not against talking to men in prison because they need someone to talk to too. It's just how you let this situation, are you going to let it take over you?
Right.
Or are you going to really open your eyes and know what you're getting yourself into, and don't let it become this fairy tale? Because men will feed you just what you want to hear.
Of course. Because, and the reason why I asked that question is, I mean, you got some men in there in prison that does change. You know, they made their mistake. They have the right to get a do-over. But you also have the men in there, like you said, been in jail for like 10 years. They become institutionalized. That is true. It's sad, but it's true.
It's true, and it's like the way the system. It's because they're in there being computerized to do the same thing over and over and over and over. And when they get out and they got all of this chaotic world hitting them at once, it's just like they kind of like they need to be on medication or something, because it really mentally messes with men. And Dominique was saying she's not currently dating anyone, but she was in a relationship for 6 years. She had to let it go. It was too much. It does become too much. It does. Like, I'm going to just be real. The dude who I'm in a friendship with now, he is in prison behind hustling. That's what he was doing out in the streets. And now he's in prison hustling. So what you going to do when you get out of prison? You're going to hustle. You're going to keep doing the same thing. So I really, really like got, not saying like my guard up, because I don't care about him. But I know not to fall for the bullshit. I know,
because you gotta love yourself more than you love him. So let's go to the comment we have here from the HB family.
No one should date anyone in prison. They're always talking to multiple people, telling them the same thing they tell you. That could be true. In the situation that I've been in, like my ex-boyfriend, like I said, I knew him since 2nd grade elementary school, and I had to testify against him in court. So like when he was getting sentenced, I was on the bench pointing at him like, yep, that's him. You know what I'm saying? So it's like in that situation, the whole 10 years that he did, I wasn't there. I was young. I was out here dating men. I was in abusive relationships. And it's crazy because out of the blue, I was at his mother's house one day while he was locked up, and he called. And he was asking who all at the house. And when they said J Red over here, he was like, oh, put her on the phone. So we got on the phone. We talked like the whole time. Like, we just caught up. He was like, I ain't heard from you in like 5 years, man. How's it been? He was like, I know about this. You got a scar on your eye. He went to telling me all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, damn, how you know? He was like, don't worry about it. Just know I know what's going on out there, and I'm going to whoop his ass when I get out.
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They still be trying to be connected out here or whatever. And then, let me see. Oh my God, but I appreciate that time because I don't fall for no bullshit. Right. Just don't fall for it. Like, it's okay to have, like, give them some conversation or whatever. Like with my friend who's in prison now, he kind of like be helping me out. He kind of helped me get over my ex-boyfriend. And he was like giving me some like real blood raw like opinions towards our situation, because I was telling him how I was reacting to things and how our arguments was going down. And he would say, you know, Jessica, you was wrong. Because I'm going to tell you why. As a man, this, and that. You could have avoided that. Like, he gives me real good advice coming from a man's point of view. Is this somebody that I see myself like in a relationship with? No.
Right. Because we as women, we're not men.
Right.
We can give women advice, but we don't know how men think. We can guess.
Right. So when and I'm like, I want to know, because this coming from someone, you've been in prison. He's been in prison like 10 years, and my ex did 10 years. So you kind of know.
Right.
So he's telling me like, no, you got to think about it. This man been locked up. You can't come at him like that. There's certain things, there's certain things and ways that how you approach a man that's been locked up for so long like that.
Right.
God knows what they've been through. People, they have to sleep with knives and shanks and stuff underneath their pillow, because they don't know who's gonna try to come kill them in their sleep. Like, that stuff really happens. It don't happen just in movies.
Exactly.
Like, it really happens.
Exactly. So do you think that when men go to jail, when they come home, right, and some of them become institutionalized in the jail system, do you think that play a big part of why they tend to always go back, because they're used to that environment? They don't know how to cope with outside.
I think so. I kind of think it does. It plays a big part. I know they're afraid to go back, but they're not. They're like in their mind, like, if I do go back, I already know what to expect. I don't need the time.
They don't know how to deal with society because they're used to being in there, right?
Right. So it's like, in my experience with men coming out of prison, like, for example, I went and picked up my cousin. My cousin just did 16 years, and he went in at 14 years old. And just a few months back, I did a video on me picking him up. He is already like at a point of he's about to destruct.
Wow.
He can't handle it out here. He's drinking beer, and these emotions are coming out, and he's like taking stuff out on people, and he's getting in arguments with his mother, and he's arguing with his family members, and it's just like he's arguing with the halfway house, and it's just like, dude, you did all these years to fight to get out, because he was sentenced to 25.
Wow, that's long.
And he kept bringing his case back. They kept telling him, no. This time they finally said, okay, we finna give you a chance to come home. And he's blowing it, and it's sad. It's breaking my heart. His daughter is my goddaughter. So when he went into prison, I kind of was like that parent figure for her, because they were young parents. He was 14, the mom was 16. They were young. They were young. So we helped out. I was young too, but I was like a year or two older than them. So I was there for his daughter. I helped raise her and stuff. And now they're trying to gain a relationship, and she doesn't even really want one with him now that she's seeing how he's institutionalized. And I'm like, your dad wasn't like that before he went in. He was just bubbly, funny, goofy, outgoing person. And now he's just like this lecturing, I'm hard on you, and it's going to be this way type person. I'm like, that's from being in prison. You got to think about it. All these years they're telling him what he got to do. So now he's getting out to tell everybody what to do. It don't work like that.
It doesn't. Let's get to the comments, J Red, from the HB family.
We got Mother of Three. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by and watching.
We appreciate it.
All right, thank you. We got Carmela, happy Tuesday. Dee
Happy
Dee saying
Tuesday,
that's
Carmela.
crazy. Then we got HB family. They come out of prison and they have the pressure of getting a job, finding a place, and trying to stay out of trouble. All of that's running through their mind. Like,
And not
who's
only
really
that,
gonna give them a chance?
now I was just about to say that, piggyback off that. You get the young men, they make mistakes in their lives. They deserve to get a second chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then when they come out and they try to do right, they can't find these jobs because
And
they
that
got
makes it even worse. And it goes back to them doing violent things and breaking the law to try to make a way.
right.
Like, I feel like the system, it sets, if you get into that system, it's going to automatically always set you up for failure. I'm like living proof of it because I've been arrested before. I've been in jail. I haven't been to prison, but I done 90 days in the county jail, and I had got some felony charges racked up on me because I was cashing fake checks. I was young and reckless. Okay, so it took 7 to 10 years for anybody to hire me. Nobody would hire me. I couldn't get a job nowhere. Nobody took me seriously because it was like 6 counts.
Right.
So it was a lot. It was a lot. And it kept making me want to just go cash more checks. But instead, I did hair. I was braiding hair and doing hair. I did it for 10 years just because nobody would hire me. Nobody would give me a chance.
It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. You got to know that in life, people want to make mistakes. I'm not talking about people taking people's lives or the rapists and things of that nature.
Right.
You know, it applies to men and women. Sometimes we make mistakes when we're younger and we wind up, catching a little bit. That don't mean that we're bad people.
Right. And I went through a depression because I felt like maybe I'm a bad person, like, because nobody will hire me. Like, I felt bad. Like, it took a toll on me. I really didn't know what I was going to do with myself. And then finally 7 years passed me and I just tested my luck and applied for an apartment and they approved me. See? I was so happy.
That's right.
I was so happy. I was like, finally somebody trusts me again.
Right.
Yeah, so it was hard. It was so hard. I couldn't get a job for nothing. I was in medical school. Medical school told me, oh, you got these charges now. You're not going to be able to get a job in this field. Because it was fraud charges.
Right. And in the medical field, you can't have any type of domestic charges or anything that has to do with, doing fraud, basically.
Right. You can't fraud charges. Like in the medical field, you can't have any fraud charges, violent charges.
Right.
Or like theft. They do not play about them people information.
They sure enough don't.
You be dealing with those information.
They dig back to God knows when. You could have done that years and years and years ago. But it's on your record, so it prevents you from they don't giving you second chance.
If I go for a job that has a level 2 background and a fingerprint, I won't get the job.
Yeah.
Because they go way back. And they'll see that and they're like, no. And I tried because I went from one county to another county trying to drive buses.
Right.
And the county that I was applying for had a smaller bus system and it was more laid back and it was like the perfect schedule. The buses didn't operate on the weekends. I wanted it. And that area dealt with a lot of disabled and elderly people. And because of my level 2 background check and the stuff that came back, they said we can drive for us. And I'm like, but I drove for Hillsborough County, like the biggest county in Tampa, like in the air. Like, why can't I? And they're like, we just don't, not in Pasco, we don't play that.
Right.
So I still deal with it to this day for stuff I've done 15 years ago.
Right. And so I just want to circle back around to because we going past an hour. I hope y'all here and our lives enjoying the conversation. We just trying to bring awareness about different things that we have experienced or we know people that have experienced, trying to bring awareness because we want our lives that we just starting to bring to the people to be information.
We want it to be informational. We want to be open and transparent with you guys. Right. We want you guys to be able to relate to us and be comfortable with coming out and telling your story and just we're building a family. Y'all know we preach family all the time.
Right.
So I'm so happy for you letting me be a part of the panel because I know this is something we talked about.
Of course.
And I love to talk. Y'all, I got stories for days. I can tell my
The goal
stories
is
better on
right,
live than I can doing a video.
right. And that's what I said. I said I'd rather do make this live opposed to a video, because then the people can see the realness and the transparency in
Yeah.
us. I think that's better.
I think it's a lot better. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you. You said all the cons of being in a relationship with a man serving a bid, but questioning why do you stay connected with these type of men? That's a good question, Dominique. So the reason why is because I feel like I have someone to talk to when I don't have no one else. I like to get knowledge from men that are in prison. I just feel like for me, I can learn. I learn from these men. Like they be spitting some knowledge to me. They be teaching me stuff I don't even know. And I don't know. I guess I just got a soft spot. Like, and I'm attracted to these type of men. I hate that I am, but that's just what I am. I'm attracted to thugs. It sucks, and maybe that's why God is like, this is why you don't have a husband right now, because you're going for the wrong.
So let me ask you a question. Do you see yourself being attracted to somebody outside the box? Because sometimes we as women, we gotta gravitate to something that we're not used to.
Not used to. Honestly, for me, I've tried and I get so annoyed. I don't know. It's just.
So what is it about them that makes you annoyed, that you gravitate to?
I think the personality, like maybe I get annoyed by the personality not being like strong. I don't want a man that's gonna let me run over them. And I feel like maybe that's why I'm afraid to go outside of what I'm used to. I don't know. I'm at a point in my life where I'm just sitting still and letting God bring it to me. I'm no longer looking. And like I said, I've dated businessmen before that got it all together and have their own businesses and wine and dine me, bought me Michael Kors and all. And guess what? He cheated. He went and married our customer. Because we opened a restaurant together. And everything. Everything was great. He just got out of a marriage. Me and him were.
You buffering, J-Red. You're buffering, J-Red. But anyway, you guys, we wanted to bring this to y'all because I felt like it was a good discussion to have. I want to bring awareness about domestic violence and other different types of situations that goes on. Like I said, not just with men, but with women, too.
With everything.
And I think it's a good conversation that we're having, and I think it's going to change some people's lives.
Yeah, it is. I cut out for a second, so I'm sorry.
It's okay. Things happen.
My internet acting crazy, but
it's all right.
I'm just sitting back waiting on God now to just, bring the right man into my life. Because like I said, I tried the good guy. The good guy still broke my heart and went and married somebody else. Like I keep feeling like I'm in these situations with men like I'm not good enough. So that's why I'm taking a break from dating right now and really just loving myself.
Sometimes you need some time for yourself.
Yeah, and I'm on this weight loss journey. Right. I'm trying to lose weight. I'm trying to just love on me. So, you guys follow me, follow my journey, learn from me. I can learn from you. And I just want a big family. That's all. I just want happiness and a family of love around me. That's all.
Right. So before we close out our lives, I think we helped the people, long enough. We tried to bring some information to them. Share with them, J-Red, the journey you're on, and what are your hopes to accomplish?
So the journey that I'm on right now, I'm on a weight loss journey. My hopes for my channel and connecting with other people is to motivate, others to just do better by their health. And I also suffer from depression and anxiety. So I also want to bring awareness of how to overcome that and just be a better me. I'm all about self-love, being self-motivated, getting to a better, healthy spot in my life. Right. And just being happy. So I just want to influence others to just live their life. And that's why my subscribers are my baddies, because we
That's
are
right.
bad bitches.
Right.
Okay.
Because guess what? I mean, they can look at you and they can learn from you, and your journey, you know, can help somebody out there.
Yeah.
A young,
That's
another
why I
young
call my
person.
subscribers baddies, because
Mhm.
you, whether you're a male or a female, you a badass person. Regardless of what anybody think, you a badass person. Don't let nobody tell you different. I am a 300+ woman, and I'm a badass bitch.
That's right.
Okay? Sorry
And
for
that's what
my
you want.
language.
That's what you want people to know. You know, you want people to know that no matter how they look,
Yeah.
what obstacles they're going through, that they're important. They matter.
You matter.
That's why I named my subscribers the Sunshines.
I love
Because everybody got something bright inside them that they can share with the world.
Yeah.
Don't ever let anybody dim your light. So I wanted to pick a name that was meaningful.
Right.
That was meaningful.
And I just listen, I've been so hooked on, like, the baddies came from the Bad Girls Club. This is something that I watched back when I was a kid. And these women, they struggle with stuff in their household, and they take their anger out and deal with things in a way, and then they put all these women together to learn from each other.
Right, exactly.
To be,
exactly.
You know, so I kind of ran with that, and I've always watched Natalie from the Bad Girls Club, and she's evolved into like this whole businesswoman and women empowerment and stuff. Like, yeah, we gonna fight, but we're still a sisterhood. And we still got each other's back. So that's what my channel is. We are a sisterhood, we are a brotherhood. And we some badass people, regardless of what anybody says.
Anybody tell you. And I believe that's important. I believe when you choose your channel name, this is my personal opinion, it should represent something of them, not necessarily and you. But like I said, I named my channel Sunshines because I want them to know that don't let nobody dim your light.
Yeah.
It's out here for everybody to see.
Yeah. And I was a little skeptical about, you know, the baddies, because there is a YouTube twin brothers, and they call themselves the Baddie Twins.
Really?
I wasn't trying to bite their little style, but this is something I've been like a women empowerment advocate since I was middle school. So it's like, I'm just a badass person. I'm sorry. So these my
I know baddies. That's right, sis. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. So before we close this out, is there any things you want to say to somebody out there that might be involved in a domestic relationship but don't know how to get out, or is afraid to go to their loved one, tell their loved one that is happening to them? Like, what are some of the things you can say to them that you wish somebody would have said to you, your inner self, whether it be a man or a woman?
So yeah, like, if anyone out there is dealing with any type of domestic abuse, violence, whether it be physical, whether it be mental, my advice is to honestly open your Bible, like, for real, and talk to God and learn God, and learn that no matter what you're going through or what somebody put you through, there is somebody here that loves you. That's Whether it be your parents, God gonna always love you. God gonna always be here. After our parents are gone, we gonna always have God. So I feel like with
gotta go to the Father.
When I was getting out of my abusive relationships, I got into church. I really did. I got into church. I got into God, like, and I gave it to Him, and He kind of opened my eyes to learning how to love myself. So if you see yourself in a situation where you feel like you're giving too much of your all to your significant other, just take a step back and turn it to God. And I know it sounds so cliche, like people always say that, but it's true.
That is true.
It's true.
Sometimes you got to go through some things, and it's not your battle to fight. You just got to go to the good Lord and leave it there.
Yep.
Yeah, make sure you're okay.
So never doubt Him. Never doubt Him. Always turn to the Lord, and just, if you can't break away, make a plan to break away. Yes. And get out of there.
And so what do you say to the lady? What do you say to the lady that want to get away, but she don't have the necessary tools to do that? Like, do she plan ahead?
That's what I was gonna say. Find you someone that you're close to that can work out a plan. There's always going to be somebody in your corner, whether it be family, whether it be a stranger, because they have places that you can reach out to where they can help you. I know it's hard. I know it's scary, but loving yourself just feels so much better. And once you learn that, you'll be all right. You'll get over it.
That is
You'll
true.
get over it. Because I don't cry so many nights missing a man, and it wasn't worth it. You gotta learn how to love yourself, and once you do that, you'll be all right. And your peace is more valuable than anything. And I'm still learning that. It took me to leave Tampa, where I was raised, to move to Tallahassee, away from everybody that I know, to really find my peace. And I'm so in love with myself right now. So yeah, if you got to take that move, just do it. Pack up and go. It may not be easy, but God will make a way for you.
Exactly. And what do you say to the young man out there that's getting abused? Because I don't want to make it, because abuse happens to men.
It does happen both ways. So for the young men that are getting abused and these women just tearing y'all down and attacking y'all and antagonizing y'all, please just leave the situation.
It's not
leave the situation. It's hard, but that's going to be the best thing for you to do. That woman going to be hurt. That woman going to be blowing up your phone, begging you, bugging you. Let it go. Because I was that woman. I was that woman bugging that man, antagonizing him, trying to ruin his life. It ain't worth it. I was so bitter and angry at my ex that I was just taking it out on all men.
So do you think, because of what stemmed from your childhood of you seeing the abuse with your mom, right? Correct? You think that made you bitter and didn't know how to see like the goodness in the man, but more so like contaminating that relationship?
I don't feel like the bitterness came in until this last relationship I was in, because when you tell somebody, when somebody knows the pain that you went through, and they turn around and do the same thing to you, that's where the bitterness come in at.
Okay.
So if you seeing signs of you about to go through the same thing someone else just put you through, run.
Yeah, that's a sign right there, right?
And angry. Like I was so angry for months. A man could look at me and I'm like, what you looking at? Like angry. You know, like for no reason, just mad. Because when someone knows your pain and they do the same thing to, it's hurtful. Just try to, it's hard. It's hard because especially when you're intimate with somebody, now you're mixing body fluids and stuff. That's real. That's real. Like that's chemistry now. Like now you messing up something now. Like that stuff is real. So
it definitely is.
It's hard to break away, but you can't.
You gotta love yourself more. You have to love yourself more.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Self-love.
Break away and focus on yourself. That's my best advice. It's not easy, but you can do it.
That's right. You gotta choose you first.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. I see everybody saying this was a great conversation.
Thank y'all. We appreciate it.
We appreciate it. I know we are over, but we're going to be back live on Saturday, right?
Thursday.
Thursday.
Tuesday.
Okay, so we're gonna be on my page.
Right. Exactly.
So just keep a lookout on my community post, because I want to post my topic the day before, just so you know we can draw in some people that maybe want to hear about our topic. So we'll be back on Thursday and I'm excited.
Me too. Thank y'all everyone for coming over here to the live. We appreciate y'all. Y'all all on beautiful sunshines.
Beautiful.
And we'll see y'all Thursday, 9:00 at Let's Talk About It.
Right, all right. See you later.
Thank y'all for joining. We appreciate y'all.
No problem.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.